Good morning, people of the intraweb and other associated places. Today we're here to do something with my 2015 Volvo S60. Great looking car, love this car, but it doesn't have trailer wiring on it. I do have a hitch. I'll show you that here in a second. It's a 2-inch, I think it's a Curt hidden hitch. That I've got on it. There's a video on it you can take a look at. Forget the brand name, I think it's a Curt. Hitch mounted beautifully. It went on spectacularly. Love the hitch. I originally put it on so I could get a hitch carrier, one of those little trays that mount to your hitch, so I could get extra space to give me, something to put bins on and strap them down to travel across country when we went on vacation last year. Worked great. But I also have a utility trailer and a small boat I'd like to be able to tow with it, with this car. I've been doing that with my other Volvo, which now is my daughter's car, and she's going off to college in the fall, and I won't have access to it anymore. So I've got to be able to get this car so that it can tow all that stuff and be legal with lights. So show you what I got to do that. We're going to put in a Curt custom wiring harness designed just for the Volvos that's basically supposed to clip right in place, maybe with a couple little wires for your hot wire ground or something like that. Haven't even taken it out of the box. Let's see what we've got though. Alright, there is the back of the car, and you can see the hitch. It is very well hidden. The tongue and clips for your safety chains is about all you notice, and I have the little pi symbol on there just because I thought that was really cool, and it keeps, like if I were to back up into something, it keeps mud out of it. Here is what we have to go on this. I have, pardon me, it's a bit windy this morning, it's a little chilly still too. Curt custom wiring harness, part number 56224, and if you take a look, it's a four-way flat, standard four-way flat output. It's for Volvo S60 from 2011 to 2016, the cross country, and the S60 long wheelbase from 2016, and the S60 long wheelbase and cross country turbo only 2017 to 2018, and I hope that S60 11 to 16 covers my car because I do have the 2-liter. But as you can see, basically it shows that you just plug right in between, it looks like your existing harness, you plug in and then it has an output for the other side, and then you're wired in. I don't know if that covers hot wire and ground or what. If I look in the box, there's this big old roll of what looks to be a ground wire there, and there's a small section here that looks like it might be for battery, a fusible link for the battery as well. So this may be for the wiring piece, the plugs. You may have to pull hot wire and ground separately, which should still be pretty easy. Let's take it out of the box and see what we've got. Now, one thing I do like about this already is you find these things where these plastic is glued or hot welded all the way around. This one, you can actually just pull it apart and it comes apart pretty easily. There are a couple of small spots where it's stapled, it looks like, and that's it. One on each side, and then it opens up clamshell style. So I really like that. And it does look like we have trailer wiring. We have our 4-wire flat connector here. We have this, and the reason this is needed is because these cars have the CAN bus system that monitors for bulb failures and stuff. And if you just plug right into the wiring, you're adding resistance to the circuit, and it throws all that off, and the computer doesn't like it. And you can actually, I've heard, burn out the computer. So there is a ground connection, it looks like. What is all this? See, there's a white, don't know what that is. Here's some extra pieces that we may or may not need. I don't know. But it looks like kind of sort of all we need is just to clip in here. Like the wires would normally clip together, so we probably just pull them apart, plug one end in here, one end in here, and we're done. I'm not sure what this part is. I guess we'll find out. And then we've got a heavy roll for some ground wire and a fairly nice piece for a fuse here. And is the fuse included? It looks like the fuse is indeed included. We've got some nice pieces here for your spade connectors, your butt crimps, some nice straps, including one for strapping this down itself somewhere. I love this. This is the cover for your 4-wire flat here. This would basically just go right over here, like so. And I probably put it the other way around. See, and you've got a cap here where you can cover that when it's not in use to keep stuff out of it. But I'll keep this when it's not in use tucked inside the trunk itself. So get in. There's a tight fit. Oh, we'll worry about that later. So now I got to read some instructions here and see exactly how we're supposed to plug this in. Okay, so after looking over the instructions, this is not horrible, but it does have some extra steps that my older Volvo I didn't have to do. I'm going to have to pull this out, which really I should just be able to lift up there and pull this out. It comes out pretty easily. I'm just going to set that off to the side here. Lean it up against the wall. That exposes this. There's a 10mm there and a 10mm there, and I need to vacuum this, so I'm going to vacuum while I'm in here. And some 10mm here, it looks like all along. So I've got to pull this, what's called a scuff panel, off to the side. And I believe there's going to be a connection up under here from what I'm seeing. You know, what's here? Let's look here and see what's here too. Yeah, I might... That's cool. That comes right out. I wonder if I could just get right in here. I don't know. I'm going to pull this whole panel out or off and see what I can see. See, the instructions actually just show me to do this, so I might not have to pull all that out. I'll see. But basically, I've got one connector that's going to plug in over here. That's that one with all the wires. And that other one that I was looking at has to loop across here and then plug in over on this side, because I got one brake light over here. That'll be my passenger side brake light connection. This will be my other connection, and then my backing lights, my running lights or whatever you want to call them, will plug in over here too. And then I'll have to ground it somewhere over here as well. And then I have to run the big wire all the way up to the battery compartment, which is interesting. I do have to run, if you look here, all the way up from the back to the front to the battery, because the battery is in the front on this car instead of on the back. So there is some extra work here I'm going to have to do I wasn't aware of, and that looks like that's what this is for. I'd rather have had a red wire than a black wire. That's kind of interesting that they chose that, but you know, I will go with it. And yeah, if I've got to pass the power through sheet metal, I've got to use a grommet and all that kind of stuff. Is what it says, but you know, I'm going to have to run this all the way up front, it looks like. Wasn't expecting that, so here we go. Okay, so far so good. If you look at the back of the light inside here, there's a wire that goes up, and there's a clip that you got to push in on and wiggle to get out. And if I take a look, this matches exactly on this side here. So I would take this, plug it in here, So I could do this one-handed. And then just plug this back in where that was. And then this section is done. And I think I've got to find a ground, which looks like there's a bolt right there I could use. I'll double check. I think the white is a ground, so that probably seems to be right to me. I'll read the directions and see what we can see. But I think we've got the first clip done, so before I go any further, I'm going to start the car and see if I can actually get lights here, and maybe I can try. Okay, I've still got lights, so at least that part works. Let's put this in here. I'm not going to close the trunk, I don't think. I'm just going to check my brake lights and make sure they still work, which I can't do, you know, and have you guys look at the same time. So, well, maybe I can. Hang on. All right. I'm going to go hit the brakes. You guys tell me if it works or not. Should have worked. You guys tell me, did it work? Alright, we're in business then. Alright, next thing we've got to do is connect this white wire to a ground. I thought that was a bolt down there, or a nut, but it's not. But there is one right here. It's an 8mm. So, what I wanted to do was test to see if that's actually grounded. It should be, but want to double check. So let me see if I can get you here. What I'm going to do is, if I can set my meter there so you can see it, is yeah, we'll turn it sideways like. Having difficulties here, aren't we? Okay, I think that might work. I'm going to touch this to that nut there, and then to one of these bolt hole or the holes down here. Where there's no paint. There we go. And I've got a short to ground, which is exactly what I want to see. That means that is a grounded bolt. So I can go ahead and remove that and put this little spade terminal under that bolt right there and then tighten her back down. So let me get that done and we'll come right back. Alright, so since we know that this just needs to clip into the back of the light, all I'm going to do is run this green wire along here where this molding piece came off right there. And I removed the cover over here, and I can just pull this away at the bottom enough to stick the wire back through there and then just clip in right there. I've just got to see if I can get you guys to see it. See this wire right here? I just got to unplug that, wiggle it. It's tight in there, so I might have to get my other hand in there, but I've just got to get this wire unclipped and then basically just put this other piece right here in the middle, just like I did over on the other side. So let me get that done real quick and we'll come back. So I got that unplugged, plugged it into here. So all I've got to do now is plug this back into here, like so, and then we're done on that side. So I can put this piece back in, and then I could put Oops, sorry. And then I can put this piece back in. And then I've got to run my power wire up to the battery and put my fusible link in right there, and then we should be done. Alright, so we're running into some difficulty. I could take the wire, and there's a pass-through under here that I could loop it down under the seat cushion, along under here, and follow all the way up to the front. And I could get it all the way up to here, and I could do that on either side. The trouble I'm having is finding how to get it through to here. I got half of this cowling removed right now, looking up under there, and everything is so stinking tight in this car. Now over on this side, I do find, if you look right down past that, I don't know if you can even see it. Let's see if I can get a better angle on the camera. Put my finger on it. There's a grommet down here, right there, that I could push through. And I think there's a big wiring harness grommet down here, passed on the back side of the auxiliary battery. So I could pass through on the passenger side, but to get to that, oh, I can see it better from here. That grommet down there, that's like way up here in the car, just like way up here on the dash. So I'd have to take out that bottom panel and maybe the glove compartment too. So I think I'm going to put a pause on this at the moment. I'm going to button up what I have, because I got other stuff I got to do today, and we'll come back and finish up that wiring later. But this is the basics of what we've got to do. All I've got to do is get the power wire up there, and we're done. That's just not as easy in these new cars. The old Volvo, the battery was right back here, right there. Super easy. It took me like 30 minutes to do all the wiring. This one, not so much, so we'll come back later. Alright, we are back inside the car, and I think we might have found another way. After doing a little bit of research, instead of running the wire through the interior of the car, if I look right here, there is a grommet that goes right down to just below here, and we should be able to put our wire right through there. Now I'm going to, we could actually remove the grommet, and what I think I'm going to do, I'm just going to, actually, but rather than removing it, what I'm going to do is get something, a small screwdriver or something, and see if we can just, oh, there we go, punch right down through, such as I did. My bit's stuck in there now. But now, I have a hole started where I can run my wire down through there, and then through the frame underneath the car, up to the battery. And I think that is how most people will end up having to do this. Now, the first thing I want to do is get this out of the way. So I think I'm going to get the little strip that comes with this. The adhesive strip, it's a two-sided piece, and just mount this up here out of the way. Alright, so here is this. I'm just going to take this and stick it right there. There's a nice out-of-the-way spot. All the wires are nice and clean. And I have access to this wire, which I'm going to want to connect to this. Now I'm going to try to push this up from the bottom here through the grommet right here. Can't. Right there. Alright, so got my wire pulled up through the grommet, and where it comes down up down here, I made a loop around one of these wires here so that if it gets pulled from below, it's not going to pull back through. I've got some wire strippers, simple wire strippers here. I just need to strip back a little bit of this insulation. A little bit more here as well, just a tiny bit. Got a little, there we go. Twist it so it's clean. You are provided with these butt connectors here that you can just put right into. And I like to do both sides at a time. I don't actually have crimps. So what I'm going to have to do is use a little pair of vice grips and hope that'll work. And if not, I'll get a bigger pair of vice grips. Let's get the bigger pair of vice grips. This is not the best way to do this, but it does work. I've just got to crimp it inside so that it won't come apart. And to be safe, I'm also going to cover that with some black electrical tape. Now where your wire goes through the grommet down there, you are going to want to seal that with some good silicone, RTV silicone. It is a black grommet. It's not going to be seen, so you can really use whatever color you want. I don't have black. I do have a clear, so I'm just going to use a clear. So that is also just for a little extra protection. You don't need that, but I want to add that. So that is nice and out of the way. So now we've got to run the rest of this wire up to the front of the car. And we're going to take the included zip ties and zip tie it to the frame wherever there is not an exhaust. We want it away from heat and where it's not going to rub on anything. Alright, so as you can see, I've got my wire run up here. I got it zip tied just to this cable bundle. I did manage to run it across the heat shield toward the back. Once you get it across a couple of shields, then you can bring it right down, I don't know if it's brake line or fuel lines, right up to here, and then pull it up through here. I've got the cover off the battery here, so what I think I'm going to do is just kind of run it right alongside here and loop it right up over here. There's a little foam piece here. I think it'll be good. And then just kind of curl it back around here. I'm going to have to tie in my fusible link and then put my connector on that. So let's get that taken care of. We're going to strip off a little bit more here. We're going to have to cut this. This is going to end up going right here. Is where I think I'm going to put it. And it'll lean over like that. Or I might put it right there. We'll see. I might just do right there. Either way, we need to clip this. Those cutters are garbage, so let's use these. And I did end up with about 2.5 feet of extra wire, so not too bad. Oh, look at that. No wonder I was having such a hard time with them. That's hilarious. Looks like I gotta go get some more. Let's see if I can get this to work. Good enough, good enough. Don't need much there. Maybe a tad more. Yeah, I think that might work, yeah. And I've got to get this in there. And then crimp these together, which I don't know that this is going to be strong enough. Let me go get my my other stuff. My oh, here they are right here. I did bring them with me. that works. Seal it up with just a little bit of tape. And I would prefer heat shrink, but I don't have any. I'm just doing this with what I've got. And I just want that to be covered. We just need to get this onto here now. You can see it pulling through. All right, that works good. I do not have a fuse in here, so I need to tie that in right there. So can I just use this? Let me go get a proper wrench there. I don't want to mess that up. Alright, so this is 13 millimeter. Make sure that stays touching there. Connect to this. Yeah, that works beautifully, because then I'll be able to tuck this right down here. And I've got my fuse I can put in. Put that in and see if it pops. Nope, no fuse pop. There it goes. It's just a 10 amp. That is in. We will put the cover on it and then tuck this out of the way. Nice and neat there. Put my battery cover back on and then get my broken stuff out of the way. And we are done. Alrighty, so nice clean trunk. All I've got to do is lift up my cover here, grab this, drop it outside, and I've got my trailer wiring right there. So that's all we need. And then when we don't need our trailer wiring, we can just tuck it back in here, drop our cover back down, and it's nice and out of the way. That's exactly how it ought to be. Phew, I'm on the wrong side of the sun. So it's that was a lot more work than I anticipated it to be. I'm not set for crawling around under the car anymore. All that rolling back and forth kind of made me dizzy a bit. But we got her done. We have the trailer wiring in for a 2015 Volvo S60. Now I'm ready to go pull that utility trailer, pull the boat, whatever we need to do. We're good to go. Let's go fishing.